Well, Robert Kiyosaki is the author of #1 personal finance book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and has warned that US financial markets are heading towards their worst crash ever. But he believes the best time to prepare for a crash is before the crash, saying there is more money to be made from certain values while they're down. Robert Kiyosaki joins me live now from Arizona in the US. Robert, thanks so much for your time. We're looking at a situation right around the world at the moment. No one has been able to avoid COVID-19. Governments are printing money. Where's this all headed?
Well, first of all, I want to say Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. You know, I love your country. And we're in a bubble. It's more than a bubble. It's a mania. And so the Harry Dent and I are coming to town. We're going to be talking about the causes of this massive mania, because it's more than a bubble. This is like the South Sea bubble or the tulip mania in Holland. Because everybody's nuts. I mean, you look at what's it came? Reddit and GameStop and Robinhood, they're all going public. This is nuts. And that's what happens when you print so much money. So everybody's feeling this euphoria. It's like they're drunk, they're drunk on lager. But when it comes down, it's going to be horrible. So Harry and I talk about, it's not so much that when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, it's just what do you do after it happens? And I think that's the question, because Harry and I agree on the cause of the bubble. We don't agree on what you should do about the bubble.
A flex alert is in effect statewide right now. And the question is, can the power grid handle the heat wave? This evening, Cal ISO issued a state 1 emergency. And minutes ago, Cal ISO reported that the current power demand is just under the forecasted peak. KPIX5's Andrea Borba is live in Lafayette with what this stage of 1 emergency actually means. Andrea.
Well, Juliet, the thing to remember right now as I'm standing here next to a very loud truck going by in downtown Lafayette is that a stage 1 emergency does not mean rolling blackouts yet. That does not come until stage 3. Right now, Cal ISO is asking for voluntary energy conservation as the heat wave attacks California, and particularly in the inland areas. Tips include setting your air conditioner to 78 degrees if health allows, postponing using the dishwasher and doing laundry until after 9 p.m., and unplugging unused appliances to reduce the strain on the power grid. Folks in Contra Costa County say it is a struggle.
Probably go to my parents' house. They have a pool, so just try to go there, take the dogs, keep them cool. Close all the shades in the house. It's hard, really hard not having the air conditioning on during the day.
Now, Pacific Gas and Electric says also to postpone any video game use for your kids if they are inside and not playing outside past the peak hours of 4 to 9 p.m. and charge all of your electronic devices, anything you could possibly need, in the day if possible. Don't do it in the afternoon when you're trying to suck up air conditioning, and that is eating up power. Plugging in all the phones, that eats up power as well. They say unplug coffee makers, anything you can think of to help relieve some of the strain on the power grid. Every little watt counts. Live in Lafayette tonight, Andrea Borba, KPIX5.
apparent delay in the return of Jesus. So Jesus will return at a time later than expected, and as a result, the church at large will fall asleep. In Revelation chapter 22, verse 7, Jesus said, "Behold, I am coming quickly. Blessed is he who keeps the words of the prophecy of this book." That was 2,000 years ago, and ever since then, Christians have anticipated the return of the Lord. Many have grown weary of waiting so long and have fallen into a state of spiritual sleep. And what it means to fall asleep, in a spiritual sense, is to be distracted by worldly living. Luke chapter 21, verses 34 through 36 tells us, "But watch yourselves, lest your hearts be weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and that day come upon you suddenly like a trap. For it will come upon all who dwell on the face of the whole earth. But stay awake at all times, praying that you may have strength to escape all these things that are going to take place and to stand before the Son of Man." A Christian who has fallen asleep is someone who has been distracted from the realities of the last days in which we are living and the nearness of the Lord's return. And instead of preparing for Jesus' second coming, they are living a sensual, worldly life. They are living to gratify their pleasures instead of living to glorify the Lord. If you realize that you are spiritually asleep, that is, the world has distracted you from living the Christian life, Jesus' solution is to wake up and pray. In other words, you need to have regular times of prayer every day and Bible study, because the Bible helps us understand the times in which we live so we don't get distracted by the world. In the